So far as what I've understood is like apna time aayega kind of like, but to my mind like we are about to get birth, like we have not even born. In context of the size of the fund that is running worldwide, around $7 to $8 trillion, and we'll be touching around 200 and 250 billion dollar. So in terms of size, we are not even 3%, and in next 10 years, suppose we aspire to be the second largest economy in the world, or maybe third, then you should assume at least 25% share, and 25% share of the expanded market. So you are talking of like geometric progression kind of a growth coming. Coming back to what Vivek was talking, like as an investor, like we are tired of, including myself, of hearing that you will get 10%, 12% CAGR if you hold for 10 years and 12 years, and that's quite a large kind of a holding period to have 12% CAGR, and particularly with a year like 2008 and 18 in between, where you see 30%, 40%, 45%, maybe in some case 2008 show on a Nifty basis it show a drawdown of 65%, and Warren Buffett shares, for example, Berkshire, in its lifetime it has drawn down to 50% from the top all the time. So whatever said and done, like it looks kind of intellectually convincing that buy and hold gives you money and all that. But ultimately, as an investor, even I agree with Vivek, we should be looking at absolute return. So when we are looking at absolute return, see, I would like to highlight a point why this erraticity in the return. Because of the technological disruption, like earlier the business used to survive for 30, 40, 50 years, 60 years, 70 years. You could take actually a long view, saying that there is a sustainable moat and some sort of an advantage, competitive advantage. But now the world is changing so fast with technological development, like every third year or fourth year, you have to rethink your business model. You need to actually think whether your model actually exists or it doesn't exist. So that is the fast-paced development that is happening. Today, Ola is there, the other day Uber is there, someday Zomato is there, someday Panda was one of the best delivery guys. Like they shut down and now they are looking at Swiggy and then reopening. So this is the pace at which the environment is changing and the business is moving to the newer segments and a new way of making money. Older ways are not making you money. So to take as a fundamental analyst, to take a view on a business for a sustainable period of time and to take a view for a decade or 2 decades is becoming increasingly difficult. Like something like, for example, Warren Buffett's investment in MasterCard or something like that. Right? They've invested because of some sustainable mode they have. Now with Apple Card coming in, they are actually virtually giving everything free of fees and free of interest. Because they are sitting on $650 billion of cash. So that has kind of started to destroy the moat which MasterCard was enjoying or maybe Visa is enjoying. So in next 5 years, I'll not be surprised if Warren Buffett silently sells his shares off because the kind of size he holds, he won't be able to get an exit on this. So probably those were the times where business was surviving. So these are the times where business are changing very fast. And we are looking at absolute return scenario, then we don't have a choice but to look at alternative investments. See, to get a 12% CAGR, if I have to see a drawdown of 65%, I think it's a bad trade to have. So only choice we are left with is to explore the alternative ways of making money. One of the easiest way currently, for example, to look at alternative in category 3 is going long short. Going long short is like you can have n number of ways of going long short. You can have a market neutral long short, or you can hedge with the index, or you can be naked long short, or a net long or a long. There are multiple ways of, and with the advent of even options, like you don't have a choice but to go to those markets. So there are no other vehicles that allow you to do that, right? So mutual fund can only buy and hold, and again they are restricted by the regulations of like having certain number of cash. And with mutual fund, the greatest limitation that I've found is the most of the entry is timed by the investors and not by the fund manager. So you are at the mercy of investor when he chooses to invest. Yes. And at those point of time, even if you are finding market suppose overvalued, you can only keep 5% or 7% what is mandated by SEBI as cash. Otherwise, you have to deploy. You don't have a choice. So the major work, which is the timing of the market, is done by the people who do not know how to time it. And majority of us as a professional also fail to time it most of the times. So those people are not in the business of timing. We are in the business of timing, still we can't time it. And we are expecting them to make a good return on mutual funds. And mutual funds, sahi hai, kind of, we keep on always selling them all that. Of course, it must be good for some people. Only form of investment that I've found rewarding in mutual fund to me is dollar cost averaging, which is the simplest form of SIPs. That is the retail people should do. Anybody HNI looking at some lump sum investments has to look at alternative investment funds. Like we were just in our office, for example, we were working for some AIF model for one of my clients who were looking to invest some family funds. So what we found is if we combine around 75% risk-free instrument with 25% long short, we could achieve 24% CAGR with intra-year zero drawdown. Intra-year. So I'm not talking maybe in a live environment you could draw down a bit, but point to point, at the end of the year, you won't be losing, there won't be a single losing year, and you'll be making 24%, and I'm talking pre-tax.
And let me tell you, he's a quantitative guy, so he doesn't give numbers just like that.
So when I say numbers, I actually go to the past and I see the data and I just make the models and then talk numbers. So they are not all, they are actually conservative. I got a number of 29, and I'm saying 24, and I'm saying realistically you can achieve 18 to 21. That is what you can probably, because now even this guy is listening, his guy is listening. These are all institutional guys who will take the edge away from us. So, so probably even if you can settle at 18 to 21%, I think it's a decent return to have. And post-tax, if you can have 12, 13, 14%, and I believe me, it's not going to be possible with buy and hold. Buy and hold days are gone. And AIF funds, I think the time has come. Everybody should seriously look into investment. The only problem with AIF is like it's restricted to HNIs, like they have to have a ticket size of 1 crore plus. So that is again a limitation. But
you generally think of, and it's all open to all of us and maybe someone, like what are the available instruments to short is we are only restricted to the futures list. Probably one of the big issue, or if it was the issue, is the SLBM market, which is not developed.
I think they are experimenting with this delivery-based system. So the next thing, the thing, like once you have everything delivery-based, like now physical settlement. So the next, probably they will have this SLBM market, like completely developed.
Coming to the US market.
LBM market, LBM market, I would say.
I don't know, any of you have traded the US markets, but how does the SLBM have the edge of the short side of it? As in, obviously you can lend shares and you do your shorts. So you think something like that?
You can borrow to short.
Sorry, borrow for
Basically,
You hold shares of the lending, we borrow and...
So in India, we have an advantage of, for example, rolling over shorts. So we get a premium to roll over. In like foreign market, you actually pay rent on that. So it works other way down. So it's about to get reversed. Those good days are about to get over.
SLBM, I remember, was introduced 2011.
Yeah. So you actually pay to borrow the shares. Like currently, like we as a short guy, we get actually ulta badla, what we call it. Right? Always we get the premium because we are shorting. We are squaring it here, and when you are short in the market, you actually make money out of like 0.5 or 0.6, whatever with the arbitrage spreads are. That is what you make. But with LBM and SLBM, everything in place, you'll have to probably start paying for it, right? So your returns are going to compress once all these things start happening.
Before we